Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 24th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on very quickly here is the DAX, the German index here. So basically you can see that what's happening here on the bigger picture, from the shorter term perspective, yes, it is still climbing above this upside support line taken from the low of December last year, but on, like I said, on the bigger picture here, it is currently testing its downside resistance line, or should I say yesterday it tested its downside resistance line taken from the highest point of January last year. So this is how it looks right now. So basically it is trading slightly above one of our levels that I was talking about here at 12,190 zone. So you can see that it pushed higher, broke above it, and then kind of quickly retraced a little bit. But like I said, this 12,190 level acted as a very good, initially good area of resistance, and now it's acting as a good area of support. Of course, the line here, this downside resistance line, that's where we're going to be keeping a close eye on, because if we do see a nice good push above that, then that's wonderful. We could see a further acceleration of the price towards the 12,350 zone. And just to show you what that level was here, so the 12,350 acts as a very good area of resistance back here on around the 4th of October. So keep your eyes on this one. Slightly above that, we do have the 12,460 level, which acted as a good area of resistance here on the 21st of September and also around the 27th of September. Some good potential targets here. We're not going to aim for much higher levels yet. First, let's see if it actually wants to break this downside resistance line. Now, looking at the cash index right now of DAX, we may see actually an opening price here today slightly lower, slightly below yesterday's close. So because currently DAX is sitting near the cash index is sitting near the 12,215 zone, so just about 25 points away from the yesterday's close. So basically continue observing this level here, the 12,190 zone. So if we do see a drop lower here below this, then we potentially could see a slide towards the downside here. Now you can see that I've got the arrow only from here, basically because this is the area where we could get comfortable with the downside, at least in the very short run. So basically a drop below the 12,000 and 12,030 or approximately the 12,000 level could open the path towards lower areas like the 11,850, which is marked by the low of the 11th of April, or even actually go and test the this upside support line taken from the lows of December last year. So that's why, guys, for us the more comfortable breakout level is going to be around here, around the 12,030. This is where we're going to be we will start looking at. But of course, if we see a drop below the 12,190, this is going to be our little neutral territory, because in a way it could slide lower, but then find a good support maybe around here somewhere, maybe around the 12,100, and then rebound and push higher again. So that's why, guys, we're going to play it cautious here with the downside. We're going to keep on monitoring this level right here, and in terms of the upside, like I said, the downside resistance line, that's what we're keeping a close eye on. We need to see a nice good pop above that in order to consider higher levels. Jumping into silver very quickly here, looking at this commodity, of course, it's also moving similarly with gold, and gold is selling off, so silver had a nice sell-off yesterday as well. So now it's currently balancing near its 14.80 zone. So of course we did have a few overshoots here, but undershoots here, but you can see that the kind of all the 4-hour candles still closed above this 14.80. Of course, now it is trying to break it lower. Let's see if it actually does that. We are slightly more on the negative side here. We could see a further continuation to the downside. The next target for us is around the 14.65 zone, just to show you what that level was here in the past. So basically, it was a nice support here, an intraday swing low here of the 24th of December. We could see a test of that, but of course, if you want, you can start looking at this level here as well, around the 14.58 zone, approximately there, slightly below that. We do have this little area of support around the 14.52. So long story short, guys, basically, of course, we are more bearish on this one right now, but we need to see a good firm move here away to the downside, away from this 14.80 level, because currently you can see that it did have a few goes here, but kind of failed to drive. So don't forget about a possible scenario where we could see maybe this one traveling back up a little bit here. If it struggles to overcome the 14.90 level, then we could see this one curving up and dropping lower again. So we could see something like that as well, but that's why for now, be very careful, be very cautious. In terms of the upside, what we're looking here is a nice good push back above the 15 level, the psychological 15 level. This way we could at least try to consider higher levels, but for better confirmation of the upside, we would like to see a nice good push above the 15.10 level approximately here, and then we will consider higher levels. But for now, this is what it is. Let me just quickly put an arrow here for our future reference. So in a way, we could see something like this happening here, guys. If, like I said, if it struggles to drop below the 14.80, we could see this one traveling a little bit higher for testing the 14.90, and then maybe selling off if the commodity fails to push higher here. We will consider higher levels if we see a push above the psychological 15 level, but for better confirmation, we need to get a nice good pop above the 15.10 level, and only then we'll aim for much higher areas. DXY, very quickly, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I talked about this one yesterday in my traders tea time, and basically it remained above this 97.52 level. That's great. It did have a nice overshoot here of the 97.70 level, but you can see that the neither of the 4-hour candles kind of closed above that level. So in order to consider higher moves here, we need to see a nice good push, another good push above the 97.70, and of course ideally we would like to see a nice good close of the 4-hour candle above this 97.70. This way we could target the 97.88 zone, which marks the high. Let me just quickly drag this one back into history. I think I'll have to jump into a daily chart on this one just to kind of point out this this level here. So the 97.88 area was near the highs of the 20th of June 2017. So this is where the index is currently sitting at. It's sitting not far from that level, but again, in order to kind of consider that this level here, we need to see a nice good pop above the 97.70 zone. If suddenly this reverses back down and starts dropping below the 97.52, well, this is where we could start considering maybe slightly lower areas like the 97.26 area, which acted as a good area, a good zone, support zone here on the 22nd of April, or just slightly below that. We do have the 97.1820 hurdle, which could also play out nicely. But again, before we could consider these lower areas, we need to see a drop below this level right here near the 97.52. So keep your eyes on this one, and keep your eyes, of course, on the upper side here as well. Let's see which way that's going to break out to. Aussie dollar very quickly, so sold off this morning. Of course, it started selling off from around mid last week, and it continued traveling further. Now, I was talking about this one in one of my previous videos recently, and I was telling you we were sitting around here still, so I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on a break below this. Could lead towards further declines. Initially, we were targeting only this area around 0.7113, but you can see that the slide continued, and especially this morning, when the Australian CPI figures came out worse than expected, and some of them worse, and actually worse than previous. So you can see that the reaction that we had here in the Aussie dollar, it traveled lower heavily. It broke its key support area near the 0.7050, and then and actually found good support near the 0.702425 zone approximately here. So basically what we're going to do here is, let me just quickly mark this again for our future reference. So basically found support near this level here. So that's going to be the important level for us now, because a nice good drop below the 0.7024 could lead towards further declines and could lead towards the psychological 0.70 level, which marks the lows of March. So keep your eyes on this one, but we're not going to rush into this yet, because we may see a bit of retracement, because as you can see, looking at this 4-hour chart, we are quite overextended here to the downside. We may see a bit of correction here to the upside. So in a way, what we could do here, we could see here is maybe a move back above the 0.7050, a test of that area, and if it fails to kind of if the bulls fail to drive this one above this, then we may see another leg of selling here, eventually maybe bypassing this 0.7024 and then touching, or should I say, aiming for the psychological 0.70 level. In terms of the upside, or should I say maybe short-term upside, well, it is a bit tricky here, because in a way you could in a way start looking at this level here near the 0.7085 level, and we could start maybe looking at higher levels if we see a break above this. The only problem here is this one right here. Let me just quickly put that on the chart, and this downside resistance line, now that's what we're looking here for. So basically, in a way, if we do have a steep uprise here, so a nice good break above this level wouldn't actually be enough. But let's say if this pair starts dragging a little bit sideways here and then makes another push higher, so if let's say if it ends up being here, then a break above this downside resistance line and a break above the 0.7085 level could be that good confirmation of the for the upside for further moves higher. But then again, like I said, the pair would need to kind of move a little bit of sideways here before we could take this 0.7085 level as a nice potential area for a move higher, or should I say this area as a breakout point for higher levels. For now, basically, we're going to keep it like this. We're going to continue observing it, but like I said, we may see a bit of correction here back to the upside. Be very cautious around here, around the 0.7050. If it struggles to push higher, then we could see another leg of selling. Similar stories on the AUDJPY, also sold off, and now it's back inside the range again. I mean, it's back deeply inside the range, so it's already even actually below the midpoint of the range. So now it found good support near the near the 78.50 level. This may act as a good area of rebound again. Potentially, we could see maybe this one rebounding and pushing higher again. In a way, we could see something like this happening, because let me just put this on the chart here, something like that. So basically, we may see something like this happening because the pair is also quite oversold on the 4-hour chart and the shorter time frame. So keep your eyes on this one. We may see something like this happening here. If of course it starts pushing above the 78.93 level, don't rush into those buys yet, because in a way we also could see maybe this one maybe traveling slightly higher and then maybe finding good resistance near this line here. Let me just quickly put that on the chart. So this downside resistance line could also play out nicely. So in a way, for now, that's the scenario that we're looking at. Even though let's say if it overshoots the 78.93 level, this is the last resort for the bears. If they see the rate kind of getting held here near this downside resistance line. So in terms of the upside here now, well, I mean, we're going to take probably a slightly more cautious approach and wait for a pop above this little level. Let me just put this on the chart quickly. So basically, we're going to wait for a nice good move initially above the 79.25 zone here, approximately there, guys. Let me just quickly put that, yep, and only then we will consider higher levels, or let's say higher levels at least up until the upper side of the range could be met, and that's around the 79.85 level. So basically that's the game plan for now. From the shorter term perspective, of course, let's see. Of course, the Aussie is quite weak right now, but again, at the same time, it's quite extended here to the downside. So in a way, we could see maybe a bit of a correction here first, and then another push higher. GBPUSD, yesterday I was talked about this one. Basically, I was telling you guys yesterday in my traders tea time to keep a close eye on this 1.2960 level. If the pair remains below that, then that's good news for the bears, and you can see that the pair continues to slide lower. The next target for us is around the 1.29. We'll see how it performs around there. We're not going to drag it too much down far yet, because we may see a correction back to the upside here. We may see also a rebound around the 129 level, something like this basically, and then maybe if the pair struggles to push back above the 1.2960 level, then we could see another leg of selling, which could potentially lead the pair below the 129 level and maybe lead it aim for the 128.30 zone. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this one. Certainly, like I said, it seems to be willing to travel further down. We are slightly we are more bearish than bullish on this one, but again, we will only target the 129 level first in the very short term, because we may see a rebound from that level and then maybe a push higher. So keep your eyes on this one. USDCAD, very important today, because we do have the Canadian interest rate decision here coming out later on. You can see that the USDCAD has managed already to accelerate, and is currently balancing around its upper side of the range near the 1.3450 level. So now then, of course, it broke out from the slightly smaller range here through the upper side of it. It broke out through it yesterday, and now it continues to travel higher. Let's see how it's going to perform later on when the data comes out. We may see this one maybe traveling back down again, maybe testing this 134 level again, and then we'll take it from there. If something like this happens, basically, then it's going to be very interesting to see if it actually is going to have enough steam to push back up again. So as I said, the DXY is of course looking positive, but if the DXY starts having a small retracement, and of course the data, the data that's going to come out is going to support the Canadian dollar, then we may see this one maybe retracing slightly back down towards the 134 level, and then we'll just take it from there and see what it wants to do. For now, of course, looking at this current picture, it is looking more positive. It is looking quite interesting here. Let's see if it actually can continue traveling higher. Slightly above that, we do have the 134.65 level, but if that fails to withhold the 1.3496 zone, that's what we're going to be looking at. And just to show you what that level was here in the past, that was the intraday swing high of the 3rd of January. So keep your eyes on this one. Like I said, for now we are more bullish than bearish on this one, but we need to see a nice good push above the 134.65 level first before we can consider this area here. In terms of the downside, a drop below the 1.34 zone could potentially lead towards further declines, and we could see maybe a retest of this downside, the lower side of the range, the previous range. So keep your eyes on this one right now. For now, that's the important levels to watch. And yep, I hope you have, guys, a wonderful trading day. I do apologize for running a little bit over my time, but I just wanted to quickly run through some of these instruments. But like I said, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you later at my traders tea time. For those who are not going to be able to join me on the Traders Tea Time, just to let you know that we're going to resume with the Traders Espresso now on Monday. So yep, no Traders Espresso tomorrow or on Friday, guys. So yep, feel free to join me later on today, and yep, or at least have a look at the rerun and the replay on the YouTube. Anyway, have a nice, wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.